We lived a pretty good life. We'd kind of gotten established on the right path. My wife was a strong believer. We met in college through InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. Established our marriage, and things seemed to be going really pretty smoothly for a long time. We moved out here to the East Coast, etc. And then just out of the blue, my wife was stricken with cancer 13 years ago. And it was completely shattering to me, because it basically threw into doubt all the goals that I had for us as a family, for us as a marriage. And I immediately just began to crumble, thinking this is it. She had a pretty aggressive form of cancer. The doctors did not give her more than 2 years. And my world was just sort of falling apart at that point in time. And it was then that I probably experienced, for the first time in my life, a very, very gripping sense of fear that things were not going to work out. But I think what I saw in all that is that God is faithful, and God did give us healing. God gave my wife her life back. And it was a tremendous, tremendous blessing to me to see my wife coming back from a serious situation. And it was a blessing to many, many other people. My wife's situation was known by many, many people. And I think a lot of people were rejoicing with us constantly that her life came back. God has called me to persevere through trial and tragedy. And this year I went through my own tragedy. I had my own life experience in a health crisis. I was diagnosed with cancer in May. And I've spent a good chunk of this year thinking about my own life and about my own potential mortality, and where I'm going to go at this point in time. God has been incredibly close to me this summer in helping me to get through a lot of uncertainty. And while my diagnosis wasn't nearly as probably severe as my wife's diagnosis, I had my own issues to deal with in this, because I now faced it for myself at this point in time. It became my mission all this summer to try to begin a long process of surrendering to God in this area.
And I truly think the only way you get there is to be brutally honest with God, just how absolutely miserable, angry, upset, afraid you are. Without being that gut-wrenching honest that your heart is being laid out before you, you might never see your kids grow up. And then you're really ready to face God with, so what is this about anyway?
Philippians 4, 6, and 7, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God which passeth all understanding shall keep your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. I don't know of any other verse that to me speaks as powerfully to giving it over to God, yielding up, surrendering to God, whatever situation you're in, and letting God's peace wash over you and just calm you in the midst of a storm.
I am not thankful for cancer. I hate it. It was the worst thing I ever went through. I'm incredibly thankful for the experience that brought me into a relationship with God that allows me to trust Him far more fully than I ever did. His sovereignty is about incredibly loving us to know Him better and better and better, so that in all circumstances, He can be God, and I will love and honor Him and stay so close to Him, because He will do the right thing for me, not against me. That was what cancer gave me.